Are you sad? Are you troubled? Are you going through a difficult time in your life? Have you been let down by somebody you trusted? Have you been let down by your family members? What are your issues? You can bring your story to Talk to NG channel and NG will shed some light on your story, and with the help of God and the advice from NG's viewers you will have a little relief. A problem shared is a problem half solved. God bless you.
Hello everyone, welcome to Talk to NG channel. How are you all doing today? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world, wherever you're watching me from. Today I will be having a chat with you guys, more like a conversation. Recently I was having a chat with a friend of mine, and while we're talking, we talked about tradition and how tradition has limited a lot of people from achieving their aim in life, and also tradition has stopped a lot of people from applying wisdom where they need to apply wisdom. Now, in a situation where somebody is the eldest of the family and you're outside the country, most people, the reason why they traveled out of the country is because they want to make ends meet. It's because they want a better life for themselves, because they want a better life for their family. Now, let's assume as a first son of the family, you traveled out of the country and all of a sudden you got a call that your father is late. And now they are urging you to come back for the burial of your father because you are the first son and you need to attend. Sometimes it's not even just the first son. There have been situations where people say, because of tradition, they expect all the family to be present in that burial ceremony. Now, imagine this person has traveled out of the country, has been abroad for 14 to 16 years of his life, praying to God and believing that one day he will have his documents. You don't have your document yet, and now the family are asking you to forfeit whatever you're doing and travel back because you have to be there for the burial of your father. Where does wisdom come in a situation like this? I personally would say, your father, your mother love you, and they were there. They encouraged you. They knew you were traveling out because you wanted a better life for yourself and probably for even them. Now, in a situation where they are late, which is an unfortunate incident, it was never what you wished to happen for yourself or for your parents or for your family. Now, I believe that your parents will be happy for you to stay back and make it. You don't have to push yourself hard and say, oh, if I am not there, they are going to say that I'm a bad son, or I am a bad child, or I'm a bad daughter because I was not present in my father or mother's burial. No, I don't think so. I don't think your parents will wish for you to travel back to your country with a travel document and then start all over again. It's like you have taken 10 steps forward and you have taken 20 steps backwards. To me, it does not make sense. This is where wisdom comes in. Sometimes you have to allow your tradition to lie low, especially when you can see that what their tradition is saying is not going to benefit you in any way. Now, in a situation where they are urging you to come back home and you can see clearly that you don't have anything back home to fall back on. You don't have a house of your own, no business of your own, no money in your account, and somebody is asking you to come back home because of tradition. Are you going to be squatting with them? Are they going to feed you? When the chips are down, are they going to show up and help you? Or they will say to you, you have been abroad how many years of your life? And you never supported them, neither did you send them money. These are people that will be talking because they don't know your situation. They don't know what you are passing through. They don't know that it can be difficult sometimes to achieve what you want, especially when you don't have your documents. And these are the same people that probably were asking you to come back to attend your father's burial. It is important in life that we use wisdom sometimes and avoid these traditions, because your tradition sometimes can put you in a state where you regret. At the end of the day, you have your uncles. At the end of the day, you have your brothers. Your siblings are there. there must be somebody there that can represent to help bury your father or your mom. And when you travel back, when things are sorted, you can go to their grave and pay them their respect. They know that you love them. They know that you wouldn't have stayed back and not attend. So you don't have to try to please people because of tradition and do things that you later regret. Now, am I going to title this next topic as foolishness versus wisdom? In a situation where you were lucky to travel outside the country, you were 40 already before you traveled outside the country. When you traveled outside the country, you were struggling for God to help you to achieve what you want. You are still praying to God to help you to have your documents. Now, you have been there now for the past 10 years, you don't have your documents. And maybe you came across a lady and children started coming in. You have children now. Your children are now going to school. And for the children that are born in the country where you are, when they are 10 years, they become a citizen of that country, depending on the rules of that country. Now, there have been situations where people will just sit back and say, oh, I have been outside the country for the past 15 years, for the past 12 years, and nothing is forthcoming. I have had enough and I'm fed up. I'm going to pack my bag and take my children and go back to my country. No be juju be that. You need to open your eyes and ask yourself, this decision you are taking, is it for you? Because at the end of the day, for you to have traveled out of the country, it was because you wanted a better life for yourself and for your children. You wanted to make sure that your children's future is secured. And you are now changing your mind to say, oh, I am tired. I've been outside the country for the past 12 to 13 years. I'm tired. I'm going back to my country. And then you pack your children. Probably your children are now getting closer to that time when they can have their immigration status sorted. You now pack your children and take them back to your country. That is proper juju. Now juju be that. Maybe you needed to just endure for more 3 years, for more 4 years. You have given up. You need to ask yourself, is somebody out there calling me back home? This is why it's very important to be prayerful. Relocating to Africa if you want to, I'm not saying it's totally bad. As long as you know you're not going to go back there and become a liability to the people you left there years back. So I feel personally it makes sense, before anybody pack their bags and say they are going back to Africa, it is better that you are sure that your children are settled, they have finished their university, or they are going to uni, or they are in college and they are also working. They have a house, they have shelter over their head, they are settled, you know, they are matured in mind, you know, they are matured now that they can look after themselves. So if you relocate, you know that, you know, right now your kids are fine, you know, you can talk to them. If you need any help, they can help you. I'm not saying you brought your children here for them to be the one looking after you, but you know, make sure they are settled so that they don't start calling you because they need help, they need financial support, or they are stressed because of, you know, lack of finance. So when they are settled, they've gotten their documents, they are working, they finished their uni, or they're probably in uni and working, it makes sense. So it's better that we think properly before taking some decision. Do not allow your decision mess you up. Do not allow tradition control your decision. Be wise when you're making your choice. I remember a story back then, years back. This guy was planning to travel out of the country. The family sold their land. They borrowed money. They sold their jewelry. They sold their clothing just to help this guy travel out of the country. They bought the visa. They got the ticket. The very day the guy was about to travel, he got to the airport. When he got to the airport, immediately was time for his flight to depart. This guy changed his mind and said, I am not traveling anymore. I am missing my mother. I am not traveling anymore. I am not interested anymore. I want to stay back in Nigeria. I am not traveling anymore. I want to stay back. That one no be juju be that. it is clear that that one is not a clear eyes. Sometimes you need to sit back, have a proper rethink before taking any decision. Especially if you know that that decision you're about to take is going to have a long-time negative effect on you, on your family, or on your loved ones. You need to put a stop to such decision. It doesn't matter whether it's a traditional practice that have been going on for the past 100 years. You have to take wisdom over that tradition and put a stop to it, or else you live to regret it. There are even situations where some people will go as far as saying to you that if you don't come back to partake of their tradition, that they will disown you, that they will no longer recognize you as part of their family. It doesn't matter. Because these people, they don't understand how things operate abroad. They don't understand that life abroad is stages. Some of them has gone as far as saying to you, oh, if you are there and nothing is forthcoming, come back home. Come back home and we will help you. Do you know that some people have gone back home because of what people like that said, and they have regretted it till today? Sometimes you need to ignore traditions. You need to ignore those persuasion. You need to ignore the way they are trying to force you to do things. Ignore it and focus. You know what you want. Focus, because at the end of the day, when you make it, when the money start flowing in, they will keep quiet. They will keep quiet. They can no longer talk. So you don't take because of pressure. You don't take because people are on your neck and take decisions that you will later regret. You have to focus, especially when you know what your targets are. Especially when you know where you're going. You focus. Don't let them make you change your plans. Also, there are traditions where you find out that when you are the eldest of the family, as a lady, your siblings are not allowed to marry until you, that is the eldest, get married. Now, traditions like this have kept some of the women in the family hold because they are waiting for the eldest to get married. We need to understand one thing. All fingers are not equal. They all have their functions. And if you check your middle finger, the two middle finger, you find out that is the short one that gets the ring. It's not because the other one is the tallest of all the fingers, and then it's the one that gets the wedding ring. No, it's the short one that gets the ring. All fingers, they have their functions. Destinies are not the same. What God has said about your eldest daughter is not what God has said about the younger one. Sometimes you find out that the sibling, the younger one, the husband will come first and the family will say, oh, we are sorry. Our tradition says that the elders have to get married before the siblings. So as a result, we cannot give our daughters hand in marriage. You find out that the siblings, the younger ones, keep on losing good men because they are waiting for their elder sister to get married. Where does wisdom come to play? Sometimes we need to look at things properly and see. We weigh it up and see if these traditions, if they benefit us or are causing more harm than good. And tomorrow people will come and say, oh, all the girls in the family, they are not married. Whereas you never allow the siblings to marry because the elders have not seen a man yet. You don't know whether allowing their siblings to get married because their husband came first will pave way for the eldest. Sometimes we need to look at our traditions and see whether our traditions need to be changed. If our traditions are positive or they are negative, or they are affecting our family or our children negatively. Another one that is very worrying is marriage rights. Some traditions and their belief can be so extravagant that it puts the man that is coming to get married to their daughter in debt. The amount of list that some family will table down for the man that wants to seek their daughter's hand in marriage, it can be massive. It can be disturbing. And they will tell you it's tradition. Some tradition has kept the man worse than the way he came when he came to marry their daughter. because the demand, the list that they requested from the man was way too much. Traditions like this need to be looked into. Tradition like this needs to be looked into. If the father of the child says, I am happy with this certain item, they should respect it and accept the item the father is happy to accept. You find that because people want to show off, people want to be recognized that their daughter, our wedding was the best in this village, our wedding was the number one in town, they make the man bankrupt because the man wants to get married to their daughter. Tradition and wisdom. Where does wisdom come to play? Some people have married. For the past 5-10 years, they are still paying debts. Because what? Because they want to do extravagant wedding. Everybody must know. My wedding must be talk in town. If you love the man that you want to marry, how about both of you cutting your cloth according to your size? How about inviting few people to your wedding? If you cannot do an extravagant wedding, how about speaking to your pastor, speaking to your man of God, and going to your pastor with your husband, your chief blacksmith, the best man, and your trains? Go there and they bless you. You go there, your pastor bless you, and the wedding is a done deal. You take your pictures and it's over. You don't have to go extra mile to do your wedding. Probably when God blesses both of you and you have your children, you can do a nice party and celebrate your family together and invite people to come and eat. You don't have to go extra mile to please people, because the people you want to please, they don't even care. They will come, eat, when they finish, they go. You face the music. You start looking for money to feed. You start looking for money to pay your bills. You start looking for money to pay your rent. And when there's pressure in that early marriage, you start having problem with your husband. You start having problem with your wife because the man is stressed just getting married to you. I am not saying that if you have the money, if you're financially equipped, you should not have an extravagant wedding. You should not enjoy your wedding. But in a situation when you know you will have to go and borrow, when you have your wedding, you will be bankrupt, then wisdom has to come to play. Wisdom must have a upper hand over tradition. There are some traditions also that are very disturbing. As a woman, you're married into a family and you are forced to do some weird things they call tradition. When a woman's husband passes, they ask you to do some things that are very, very disturbing, all in the name of tradition. A lot of tradition need to change because they are subjecting women to suffering. They are subjecting women to pain, and it needs to change. Sometimes some women will lose their husband and they will force the woman to get married to the younger brother because the husband just died. It's really strange. Some women are also subjected to getting married to another available brother in the family immediately a husband dies. And they also hand over all the assets of the man to the brother, saying that since he's dead, you are now in charge of all his goods and in charge of the woman. What kind of tradition is that? A lot of traditions need to be looked into. It is high time that we look at a tradition and see whether this tradition is favoring us or is causing more problem to our family, to our children, to our lives. Some tradition really need looking into. If you're watching me out there, like I said, today is just a chat and I just want us to have a conversation. Please go to the comment section. What are your experience? Do you have any experience in regards to traditions? What has tradition limited you to? Has tradition caused you pain? Please go to the comment section and let's chat about it. I'm sure a lot of people will be waiting to see your comment. Remember, if you have been watching my video and you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel so that when I post my video, you'll be the first person to know. Support your girl, and also don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to press the notification button when you also subscribe. God bless you and thank you for watching. Bye bye.